everyone, Melina here, with another Top 5 Wednesday. This week's subject, or topic, is Top 5 LGBTQIA plus novels, and I have a couple to show here. I fell in a couple with me because a lot of my books are in storage right now, which is kind of frustrating, but screw it, we're gonna work with it. And the first one here I have is one that I read last year. It's called Something Like Summer by J. Bell. It was one of my favorite books that I read last year. It is about these two teenage boys in high school who fall in love, and it spans like a couple decades, and eventually there's kind of a love triangle thing that happens. Just kind of a disclaimer if you are not into that kind of storyline, but it's done beautifully. The writing was like so good. It's a companion novel series. Each of the novels is in one of the different guys' points of view, and it's getting turned into a movie this year, which I'm really excited about. Not like a big production movie, but an indie film, and yeah, it's really good. It's pretty mature with the sexual themes and stuff, so I would keep that in mind before going in. Next year I have Hero by Perry Moore. This, I am obsessed with all things comic book and superhero and stuff like that, and it feels very like that because it is about a teenage boy who, around the same time that he is coming into his sexuality and realizing that he's gay, he is also coming into his powers, and he is the child of two famous superheroes, and he's developing powers of his own. He starts, he joins this league of superheroes that like fight crime and stuff, so it's very action-packed and it's very fun, and there's a very cute romance there where he falls in love with another boy, but it's kind of can't go into any more detail than that because anymore, and it'd kind of be a spoiler because there's lots of stuff that goes on there. I believe it was supposed to be a series, which I would have been so into, but Perry Moore, the author, he passed away before he could publish any more of the novels, which is really sad. Oh, and by the way, I'm kind of cheating here and I have 6, but whatever. The next one I have here is Between Lovers by Eric Jerome Dickey. This one kind of holds a special place in my heart because it is the first book that I've ever read with an LGBT character. It's the main plot of the book is there is this woman who was going to get married, and she left the guy at the altar even though she is in love with him, and they still talk and they're still kind of dating. They're just not going to get married anymore because she is also in love with a woman, and it was so interesting because, you know, being that young and like I believe I was like 10 or 12, somewhere around there, and reading a book with a bisexual female lead. It's in the guy's point of view, but still, like, she's the main woman, and it's just, it meant a lot to me growing up as a bisexual woman, and yeah, I love Eric Jerome Dickey's work. I believe this is the only one I've read with an LGBT character in it though, but it was wonderful, and his books are also very mature, so I would keep that in mind going in. Next here, I have Every Day by David Levithan. I want to get more into David Levithan's books because he's very well known for all of his LGBT literature, YA books. This one I read a couple years ago. It is about a character, a person named A, and A doesn't have a specific gender or race or even sexuality, and it's mainly because every day A wakes up in a different body, and the only thing that's consistent is that the age. So once A has lived for like 16 years, all of the bodies that A will wake up in each day will be 16-year-olds, you know? And so A does the best that they can to kind of not really mess with the person's life while they're in there, but one day A is in the body of this boy, and he falls in love with, A falls in love with the boy's girlfriend, Rhiannon, and it kind of just takes off from there. Still trying to maintain a relationship throughout switching the bodies, and it's very interesting, it's very beautifully written, and it's so diverse because you experience all different kinds of you know, sexualities, genders, races, all within one character. And I think that it's a beautiful way to kind of blur the lines between so many separations that we have nowadays and stuff. And the only faults that I see with this book is how it kind of viewed body types. Specifically when A wakes up in the body of a plus-size boy. But other than that, I think that it is one of the most beautiful books I've ever read. It's definitely one of my top favorites, and yes. Here, I also have The Darkest Part of the Forest by Holly Black. I read this book last year. It was one of my favorite books that I read last year. It is about this fairy boy who, in the forest, he's in a coffin, and it's like a normal world, but in like the woods and stuff, the fairies do exist. And so everyone kind of comes to this coffin where this boy has been laying because he's been there for hundreds of years. He's kind of a tourist attraction. And it's about these twins, this boy and girl twins that basically they always loved coming over there to see him and stuff, and what happens with them when the fairy boy one day is no longer in the coffin anymore, and what happens to that town, and what happens. It's a beautiful fantasy. It's a standalone fantasy, which is pretty rare. I love Holly Black's writing. One of the twins, the boy, he is gay, I believe. I don't know if it was specific, but I think that he's gay. And then one of the other main characters, I believe, is bisexual, even though it is not blatantly said. You can kind of infer through things that happen, and it has one of the cutest romances that I have read in a fantasy. Holly Black knows how to really write fairies, especially, and yes, I thought this was beautiful. And my cheat, kind of last one that I have here, is a hunker of a book. It is Afterworlds by Scott Westerfield. This is about a girl, I believe her name is Darcy, and it's about, she kind of wrote a whole novel in about a month, and it's kind of her and getting her novel published and trying to get it recognized and stuff, and you kind of go back and forth between chapters, and it's following her story, which is kind of like a contemporary novel, and reading her book that she published, which is called Afterworlds. And a lot of people didn't like reading her book, or like people are very split on liking one section of the book but not the other, because it's kind of two books in one, but I love them both personally. But it's not in her novel, it's in her real life that the LGBT element comes in. She falls in love with another girl, and it's a very cute romance. It's the only female romance that I've read that I actually liked, and that I thought was well fleshed out and really cute and really beautifully written. And yes, I'm planning on reading more Scott Westerfield, but so far this is the only one I've read, and I really loved it. And yeah, that's it. So if you liked this, be sure to give it a like and subscribe, and I'm planning on posting more videos in the future. Bye!